There are nights when everything feels too heavy to carry. Nights when the silence around you is louder than any noise, and your thoughts refuse to let you rest. You lie there, staring into the darkness, feeling as if the weight of the world has settled on your chest. It's not just sadness, it's something deeper, something harder to explain. You try to make sense of it all, but nothing feels clear. The things that once made you happy don't feel the same anymore. The motivation you used to have slowly fades, and even the smallest tasks feel overwhelming. You begin to wonder if anyone truly understands what you're going through. Sometimes, you don't even have the energy to explain your pain. People ask if you're okay, and you say, yes, because it's easier than opening up a heart that feels too fragile. You smile on the outside, but inside, there's a quiet storm that never seems to calm. There are moments when you feel completely unheard. You make dua, you whisper your pain, but it feels like your words are just disappearing into the emptiness. You start questioning yourself. Is anyone listening? Does anyone see how much I'm struggling? And slowly, without even realizing it, exhaustion begins to take over. Not just physical exhaustion, but emotional exhaustion. The kind that drains your soul. The kind that makes you feel like giving up, not because you want to, but because you don't know how much more you can take. You begin to feel lost. Lost in your own thoughts, lost in your own life. The path ahead seems unclear, and the direction you once believed in now feels distant. You question your purpose, you question your strength, you question everything. There are nights when tears fall silently, and no one knows. No one sees the pain you carry behind closed doors. No one hears the quiet cries that escape your heart when everything becomes too much. But in the middle of all this darkness, there is a truth you may have forgotten. A truth that hasn't changed, no matter how you feel. A truth that remains constant, even when everything else feels uncertain. Allah knows. He knows the pain you don't speak about. He knows the tears you wipe away before anyone can see them. He knows the thoughts that keep you awake at night. Every fear, every worry, every silent cry, none of it goes unnoticed. Even when it feels like your du'as aren't being answered, they are being heard. Every word you whisper, every call you make to Him, it reaches Him. There is no distance between your heart and Allah. You may feel alone, but you are never truly alone. Not for a single second. Allah is closer to you than you can imagine, closer than your own breath, closer than your own heartbeat. Sometimes, the silence you feel is not absence. It's preparation. It's a moment where Allah is shaping something within you, strengthening something you cannot yet see. Your pain is not meaningless. What you're going through is not a sign that you've been abandoned. It's not a sign that your prayers don't matter. It's not a sign that you are forgotten. In fact, it may be the very opposite. Because when Allah tests you, it is never without purpose. Every hardship carries a hidden mercy. Every delay carries a wisdom you may not yet understand. And every tear carries a reward. You are not weak for feeling this way. You are human, and being human means feeling deeply, struggling, and sometimes losing your way. But it also means having the ability to return, to reconnect, to find your way back. Maybe you haven't given up. Maybe you're just tired, tired of trying, tired of waiting, tired of hoping for things to change. And that kind of tiredness can make you feel like you've lost everything, even when you haven't. Because the truth is, as long as your heart still turns to Allah, even in the smallest way, you haven't lost. As long as there's even a quiet whisper inside you calling out to Him, you are still connected. And that connection is everything. So take a deep breath. Let your heart slow down for a moment. You don't have to have everything figured out right now. You don't have to carry every burden all at once. Just come back. Come back to the one who has always been there. The one who has never left you. The one who understands you better than you understand yourself. Allah is near, closer than your pain, closer than your fears, closer than the darkness you feel right now. And maybe, just maybe, this isn't the end of your story. When you feel completely alone, this is the moment where everything begins to change. Moments when your heart feels distant, your thoughts feel heavy, and your soul feels like it's searching for something it cannot find. In those moments, it's easy to believe that you've been left on your own. But the truth is something far more powerful. Allah says, and we are closer to Him than His jugular vein. This is not just a verse to be read, it is a reality to be felt. A closeness that is not limited by space, not weakened by your struggles, and not dependent on your state. You may feel far, but Allah is never far from you. He is with you in every moment. When you're sitting in silence, when your thoughts are overwhelming, when your heart feels like it's breaking. He is there, closer than you can ever imagine. Every tear you have ever cried, Allah has seen it. Not a single drop falls without His knowledge. The tears you hide from the world, the ones you quickly wipe away, the ones that fall in the darkness of your room. Allah sees them all. And He understands what each tear carries. Every silent dua you have ever made, Allah has heard it, even the duas you couldn't form into words. The ones that stayed in your chest, the ones that came out as nothing but a heavy sigh, the ones that lived only in your heart. Allah heard them before you even spoke. You don't need a perfect voice for your dua to be accepted. You don't need to find the right words. You just need a heart that turns to Him, even if it's broken. Because Allah understands what you cannot explain. There are times when people don't understand you. They see your silence and assume you're fine. They hear your words but miss your pain. They try to relate, but they cannot fully feel what you are going through. And that can make you feel even more alone. But even when no one understands you, Allah does. He understands the depth of your sadness. He understands the reason behind your tears. He understands the thoughts that you're too afraid to share with anyone else. Nothing about you is hidden from Him. And that is where your peace begins, not in being understood by everyone, but in being completely known by Allah. When you start to truly realize His closeness, something changes inside you. Your loneliness begins to soften. Your fears begin to quiet down. Your heart starts to find a sense of calm, even if your situation hasn't changed. Because you begin to understand that you are not walking through this life alone. Allah is with you in your struggle. He is with you in your waiting. He is with you in your healing. Even when life feels uncertain, His presence is constant. Even when your heart feels distant, His closeness never fades. Sometimes, the problem is not that Allah is far, it's that the noise of this world has made it hard for you to feel Him. Your worries, your stress, your pain, they build walls around your heart. But those walls can come down. All it takes is a moment of sincerity. A moment where you pause, breathe, and turn back to Him. Not perfectly, not with long words, just honestly. Because Allah does not expect perfection from you. He only asks that you return. And when you do, you will realize something beautiful. He was never distant. He was always near, closer than your fears, closer than your pain, closer than the very thoughts running through your mind right now. So in your quietest moments, when you feel like no one is listening, remind yourself of this truth. Your voice is heard, your pain is seen, and your heart is known. And the one who knows you best has been with you all along. There are moments when giving up feels easier than continuing. Moments when the weight of everything you've been carrying finally catches up to you, and you start to wonder if you have anything left to give. It doesn't happen all at once. It builds slowly. A failure here, another disappointment there, plans that didn't work out, doors that closed just when you thought they would open. You try again, and again, and again, but the results don't seem to change. And after a while, it starts to affect you. You begin to question yourself. You wonder if you're not good enough, not strong enough, not worthy enough. You look at others moving forward in life while you feel stuck in the same place, repeating the same struggles. Repeated failures don't just hurt your situation, they begin to hurt your belief. Then there are the du'as, the ones you made with full hope, the ones you repeated over and over again, believing that this time things would be different. You raised your hands, you spoke from your heart, you trusted, but the answer didn't come the way you expected. And the silence that follows can feel heavy. You start asking yourself difficult questions. Why isn't anything changing? Did I do something wrong? Is my dua not enough? These thoughts don't just pass through your mind, they settle into your heart. Delayed answers can feel like rejection, even when they are not. And then there is loneliness. Not just being physically alone, but feeling emotionally disconnected. Feeling like no one truly understands what you're going through. You try to explain, but the words don't come out right. Or worse, you stop trying altogether. Because it feels like no one really sees you. And when you combine all of this, the failures, the waiting, the loneliness, it creates a kind of exhaustion that goes deeper than anything physical. It drains your hope. That's when the thought of giving up begins to whisper. Not loudly, not dramatically, but quietly. Maybe it's not worth it anymore. Maybe this is just how life is going to be. Maybe I should stop trying. But here is the truth you need to hold on to, even if it's the only thing you have left. What you are going through is not a punishment. Your tests are not a sign that Allah is against you. They are not proof that you have been abandoned. They are not a reflection of your worth. They are part of your journey. A journey that is shaping you in ways you cannot yet see. A journey that is building something inside you that comfort alone never could. Pain has a purpose, even when it doesn't make sense. Every delay carries wisdom. Every struggle carries growth. Every hardship carries something that is preparing you for what's ahead. You may not understand it now, and that's okay. You're not meant to see the full picture yet. Because if you did, you would realize that this moment, the one where you feel like breaking, is not the end of your story. It's a shift. It's a turning point. Your breaking point is not your end, it's your turning point. It's the moment where something inside you begins to change, where your dependence on everything else starts to fade, and your return to Allah becomes stronger. Sometimes, Allah allows you to reach a point where you feel like you have nothing left, so you can finally realize that He is everything you need. Not because He wants to break you, but because He wants to rebuild you in a way that is stronger, deeper, and closer to Him. So if you feel like giving up right now, pause, take a breath, and remind yourself that this feeling does not define your future. You are not at the end. You are in the middle of becoming. And even if you cannot see it yet, something within you is being prepared for something greater than what you lost. There is a question that echoes deep within every test you face. A question that shifts the way you see your struggles, if you truly allow it to settle in your heart. Allah says, do people think they will be left to say, we believe, without being tested? This is not just a question, it is a reminder of the reality of this life. Faith was never meant to be something you only say. It is something that is proven, shaped, and strengthened through what you go through. In that process, it often comes through hardship. When life is easy, belief feels simple. But when things become difficult, when everything around you starts to shake, that is when your faith is being built into something real. Something deep, something unshakable. Every test you face carries a purpose, even if you cannot see it right now. It is not random, it is not meaningless, it is not placed in your life without reason. There is a wisdom behind it that goes beyond your current understanding. Sometimes, tests come to build your faith, to take you from a place of simply knowing about Allah, to truly relying on Him. To move your heart from words to conviction, from routine to sincerity, from distance to closeness, because when everything else begins to fall away, you start to realize that Allah is the only constant you have. And that realization changes everything. Sometimes, the purpose of your pain is purification. Your heart carries things you may not even be aware of, attachments, distractions, sins, worries that pull you away from peace. And through hardship, those things begin to fall away. Pain has a way of humbling you. It softens your heart. It breaks the pride you didn't know was there. It makes you turn back to Allah in a way you never did before. Not out of routine, but out of need, out of sincerity. And that kind of return is powerful. Because a heart that turns to Allah during hardship is a heart that is being purified. Every tear, every moment of patience, every time you choose to hold on instead of giving up, it is washing something within you. It is elevating you in ways you cannot measure. Even when it hurts, even when it feels overwhelming, even when you don't understand why, there is design in your difficulty. Every hardship is designed to shape you into who you are meant to become, designed to prepare you for something greater, designed to bring you closer to Allah in a way comfort never could. You may look at your situation and see only pain, but Allah sees your growth. You may feel like you are losing something, but Allah may be protecting you from something you cannot see. You may feel delayed, but Allah is never late. His timing is precise, His wisdom is perfect, and His plan for you is unfolding, even in the moments that feel like they are standing still. So instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Try to ask, what is this teaching me? Because within that question lies a shift from frustration to understanding, from resistance to acceptance, from pain to purpose. And when you begin to see your tests through that lens, something inside you starts to change. Your hardship may not disappear, but your heart becomes stronger within it. You begin to carry your struggles differently, not as a burden that is breaking you, but as a process that is building you. Because the truth is, this test is not here to destroy you. It is here to transform you. And even if you cannot see the full picture right now, every moment you endure with patience, every time you turn back to Allah, every tear you shed with sincerity, it is all part of something meaningful. Something intentional, something that is bringing you closer to the person when silence feels like abandonment, to the one who has been guiding you all along. When your prayers seem to echo back without an answer, and your heart begins to wonder if you've been forgotten. You look at your situation, at the delays, at the unanswered hopes, and it quietly plants a question inside you. Has Allah left me? But Allah answers that doubt with a truth that cuts through every fear. Your Lord has not forsaken you. Not then, not now, not ever. No matter how long the road feels, no matter how heavy your heart becomes, you have never been abandoned. Not for a single second. Not in your darkest night. Not in your weakest moment. Allah does not forget His servant. He does not overlook your pain. He does not ignore He does not turn away from it that is calling out to Him. Even when you feel distant, His care for you has never decreased. Sometimes, what you interpret as distance is actually protection. Sometimes, what feels like silence is actually mercy. Because if everything came to you exactly when you wanted it, in the way you expected it, you would never realize how perfectly Allah's timing works. You would never see the wisdom behind the waiting. The delay you are experiencing is not neglect, it is divine timing. There are things you are asking for that are not yet ready for you. Not because you are not worthy, but because Allah is preparing you for them. Preparing your heart, your patience, your understanding. And there are things you are asking for that may harm you if they come too soon, or even at all. But because you cannot see the unseen, it feels like you are being denied, when in reality, you are being protected. Allah sees what you cannot. He knows what is ahead of you. He knows what will break you, and He knows what will build you. And He chooses for you based on His perfect knowledge, not your limited understanding. So when something is delayed, it is not because you have been forgotten. It is because your story is still being written with care. Think about every moment you thought you wouldn't survive, yet you did. Think about every hardship that once felt unbearable, yet it passed. You were being carried through those moments, even when you didn't realize it. That same care is still with you now. Allah has not left you in this moment. He is with you in your waiting. He is with you in your confusion. He is with you in your healing. Even when your heart feels tired, even when your faith feels weak, even when your hope feels like it's slipping away, His presence has not changed. You are still held, you are still seen, you are still guided, and maybe what you need right now is not immediate answers, but reassurance. A reminder that you are not forgotten. A reminder that you is not ignored. A reminder that you is still writing something beautiful for you, even if you cannot see it yet. So hold on, not because it's easy, but because you are not alone in this. Hold on to the truth that Allah has never abandoned you. Hold on to the belief that what is meant for you will reach you at the right time. And when that time comes, you will look back at this moment, the waiting, the confusion, the pain, and you will understand. You will see that nothing was random. Nothing was wasted. Everything was placed exactly where it needed to be. Because the one who never forsakes his servant has been guiding you all along. There are moments when making dua feels heavy. When you raise your hands, but your heart feels tired. When you try to speak, but the words don't come out the same way they used to. And slowly, a thought begins to form. What's the point, if nothing is changing? But this is exactly the moment you need to hold on the most. Dua is not just about getting what you ask for. It is about staying connected to the one who controls everything. It is about returning, again and again, no matter how broken you feel. Never stop making dua, even when you feel exhausted, even when you feel unheard, even when you feel like your situation is not changing. Because your dua is never a wasted act. Every time you call upon Allah, something is happening, even if you cannot see it. Every whisper, every tear, every moment you turn to Him is being recorded, valued, and responded to in ways beyond your understanding. Sometimes, Allah answers your dua exactly the way you asked. And when that happens, it feels immediate, clear, and comforting. But sometimes, the answer comes differently. Sometimes, what you asked for is delayed, not because it won't come, but because the right time has not arrived yet. A time where it will benefit you fully, where it will not harm you, where it will come with goodness you didn't expect. And sometimes, Allah gives you something better than what you asked for. Something you didn't even think to ask. Something your limited view could not imagine, but His perfect knowledge knew you needed. And there are times when a difficulty is removed from your life because of your dua, without you even realizing it. A harm that never reached you. A pain that was ridden but lifted. A path that was quietly changed. You may never know how many times your dua protected you. This is the beauty of calling upon Allah. Yours always answered, just not always in the way you expect. So when you feel like giving up on making dua, remind yourself that the outcome is not the only purpose. The act itself is powerful. It keeps your heart alive. It keeps your connection strong. It reminds you that no matter how difficult life becomes, you still have a place to turn to. A place where you are heard without judgment. A place where you are accepted in your weakest state. A place where your broken words are more than enough. You don't need perfect faith to make dua. You don't need perfect consistency. You just need sincerity, even if your voice shakes. Even if your heart feels distant. Even if all you can say is, Ya Allah, help me. That is enough. Because Allah does not look at how perfect your words are. He looks at how sincere your heart is. So keep asking. Keep turning back. Keep raising your hands, even if they feel heavy. Because your dua is building something. Something unseen. Something meaningful. Something that will reveal itself at the right time. Your dua is never wasted, even if you don't see it yet. And one day, you will look back and realize that every moment you called upon Allah was leading you exactly where you needed to be. There comes a point in your journey where you realize that holding on too tightly is what's hurting you the most. You try to control every outcome, every detail, every step of your life, but the more you try, the heavier your heart becomes. Because you were never meant to carry that kind of weight. This is where tawakkul begins. Tawakkul is not giving up. It is not being passive. It is not ignoring effort or responsibility. Tawakkul is doing everything within your ability, giving your best, making your effort, taking your steps, and then placing the outcome completely in the hands of Allah. It is a balance between action and trust. You strive, but you don't stress over what you cannot control. You plan, but you don't panic when things don't go your way. You work hard, but your heart remains at peace, knowing that the result is not yours to decide. Because the truth is, you were never in control to begin with. And that realization is not meant to scare you, it is meant to free you. So much of your anxiety comes from trying to control things that were never placed in your hands. The future, the timing, the outcomes, the hearts of people, all of it belongs to Allah. And when you try to carry it, it exhausts you. But when you begin to let go, something changes. Your heart softens, your mind becomes quieter, your soul begins to breathe again. Because you are no longer trying to manage what only Allah can manage. Tawakkul is trusting that whatever Allah chooses for you is better than what you would have chosen for yourself, even if you don't understand it in the moment. It is believing that every delay, every redirection, every closed door is part of a plan that is working in your favor, even when it doesn't feel like it. It is waking up each day, doing your part, and then saying within your heart, Ya Allah, I trust you with the rest. And that trust is powerful, because it removes the fear of, what if? What if it doesn't work out? What if things go wrong? What if I fail? Tawakkul answers all of that with one truth. Whatever happens is by the will of Allah, and whatever Allah wills is always for your ultimate good. Even if it takes time to understand, you don't need to have everything figured out right now. You don't need to know how every situation will unfold. You don't need to control every outcome. You just need to trust. Trust that Allah sees what you cannot see. Trust that He knows what is best for you. Trust that His plan is better than your expectations. So take your steps, make your effort, do what you can with sincerity and intention, and then let go of the rest. Because you don't need to control everything, just trust Allah. And in that trust, you will find a peace that control could never give you. There are moments when patience feels impossible, when the weight of waiting becomes too heavy, and your heart quietly asks, how much longer? You try to stay strong, you try to hold on, but the pain of not knowing, the pain of not seeing change, it begins to wear you down. But this is where sabr begins to take its true meaning. Allah says, indeed, Allah is with the patient, not after the hardship ends, not only when relief comes, but in the middle of your struggle, right there, in your waiting, in your pain, in your uncertainty, Allah is with you. And that changes everything. Because sabr is not just about enduring pain silently. It is not about pretending that everything is okay when your heart is hurting. It is not about suppressing your emotions or ignoring your struggles. Sabr is something deeper. It is the strength to keep going, even when it's hard. It is choosing not to give up, even when you feel like you can't continue. It is holding on to your faith, even when your situation is shaking. Patience is not weakness. In fact, it is one of the strongest states your heart can reach. Because it requires you to trust when you don't understand, to believe when you don't see, to stay grounded when everything around you feels unstable. Anyone can be hopeful when things are easy, but it takes real strength to remain patient when everything is difficult. Sabr is not waiting, it's trusting while waiting. It is waking up each day and continuing your journey, even when the answers haven't come yet. It is carrying your pain, but not letting it pull you away from Allah. It is feeling the weight of your struggle, yet still choosing to believe that there is a purpose behind it. And every moment of that patience is seen. Every time you choose not to give up, every time you hold back your frustration, every time you turn to Allah instead of turning away, it is being counted. Nothing is lost. Your patience is not invisible. It is building something within you. It is strengthening your heart. It is raising your rank. It is bringing you closer to Allah in a way that ease never could. Even when it feels slow, even when it feels like nothing is changing, something is happening inside you. Because sabr transforms you. It teaches you to rely on Allah, not just in words, but in reality. It teaches you to detach from outcomes and attach your heart to the one who controls them. It teaches you that your peace is not found in immediate results, but in trusting the process. And yes, it is hard. It is not easy to be patient when your heart is tired. It is not easy to keep believing when you feel stuck. It is not easy to keep going when you feel like stopping. But you are not doing it alone. Allah is with you in your tears, with you in your waiting, with you in your quiet moments of struggle that no one else sees. So when patience feels heavy, remind yourself of this truth: you are not just waiting aimlessly. You are being accompanied, supported, and guided by the one who sees the end of your story. Hold on, not because it's easy, but because it's meaningful. Hold on because your patience is leading somewhere. And even if you cannot see it yet, every moment of sabr is bringing you closer to a relief that will make you understand why you had to wait. There are moments when it feels like everything has come to an end. When the pain has lasted too long, the waiting feels endless, and your heart quietly begins to believe that this is how your story will always be. But what if this is not the end? What if this is just a chapter? It's easy to think that the current moment defines your entire life. That this pain, this confusion, this struggle is permanent. But your story is still being written, and you are only seeing a small part of it. This is not your final chapter. There were people before you, strong, chosen, beloved by Allah, who walked through hardships far greater than what you can imagine. Prophets who faced rejection, loss, loneliness, and years of waiting before they saw relief. They cried, they struggled, they waited, but their stories did not end in pain. Their hardships were not signs of failure. They were steps toward something greater. Every trial they faced was preparing them for a moment that would make everything make sense. And your story is no different. Right now, you may only see the struggle. You may only feel the weight of what you are going through. But there is more being written for you than what you can currently see. There are chapters you haven't reached yet. Chapters of healing, chapters of ease, chapters where things begin to fall into place in ways you never expected. But you cannot reach those chapters if you believe the story has already ended. Because it hasn't. The pain you feel right now is not the conclusion, it is part of the process. A process that is shaping you, strengthening you, and preparing you for what is ahead. Sometimes, the middle of the story feels like the end, because you cannot yet see what comes next. But Allah can. He sees the full picture, every moment, every step, every outcome. He knows where this path is leading, even when you feel lost within it. And that alone should give you hope. Because the one who is writing your story is the most wise, the most merciful. He does not write endings without purpose. He does not create struggles without meaning. He does not place you in a chapter that has no benefit for you. So if you feel like giving up, remind yourself of this truth: your story isn't over. There is still more for you. More growth, more understanding, more moments that will make you look back and realize why you had to go through what you did. And one day, you will reach a point where everything begins to connect. Where the pain you once questioned becomes something you understand. Where the waiting you struggled with becomes something you appreciate. But for now, you just need to keep going. Even if it's one step at a time. Even if it's with a tired heart. Even if it's with unanswered questions. Because Allah is still writing your story. And what lies ahead may be far greater than anything you have left behind. There comes a point in life where your heart quietly admits that nothing in this world can truly fix what you feel inside. You may try distractions, people, success, or even silence, but the emptiness remains. And that emptiness is not a punishment, it's an invitation. An invitation to return to Allah. Coming back to Allah doesn't begin with perfection. It begins with honesty. It begins with admitting, Ya Allah, I'm lost, and I need you. That moment, as small as it feels, is in the sight of Allah. You don't need to have everything figured out before you turn back. You don't need to fix your life first. You come as you are, confused, broken, tired, and Allah accepts you as you are. Sincere prayer is where that return starts to feel real. Not just physical movements, but a connection. When your finally speaks in sujud, when your tears fall and no one sees you except Allah. That is where healing begins. Even if your prayer is imperfect, even if your focus slips, even if you struggle to stay consistent, don't stop. Because it's not about being perfect in salah, it's about showing up for Allah. And then there is dua, the most intimate conversation you can have. You don't need fancy words. You don't need rehearsed sentences. Just speak. Speak your fears, your regrets, your hopes. Allah hears the you whisper. Allah hears the you cry. Allah even hears the you can't put into words. Never think your dua is ignored. Sometimes Allah answers immediately. Sometimes He delays it, and sometimes He replaces it with something better. But He always responds. The problem is, we often measure acceptance by what we see. But Allah is working in ways you cannot see yet. Your dua is never wasted, it is either changing your situation or changing you. Dhikr is another way back to Allah. Simple words, repeated softly, can bring a restless heart back to life. Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar. These are not just words, they are for your heart. When life feels heavy, dhikr grounds you. When anxiety builds, dhikr calms you. When overwhelms you, dhikr reminds you that Allah is greater than everything you're facing. You may feel unworthy to return, that your sins are too many, that your past is too heavy, that you've gone too far, but that thought itself is a trick to keep you away, because Allah's mercy is not limited by your mistakes. If your sins reach the sky, and you sincerely turn back, Allah would still forgive you. Not reluctantly, not partially, completely. The feeling of guilt in your heart right now, it's not there to push you away. It's there to pull you back. It's a sign that your heart is still alive. There are people who sin and feel nothing, and there are people who sin and feel broken. The second one is closer to Allah than they realize. That pain you feel, that regret, that heaviness, it's not the end of you. It's the beginning of your to Allah. You don't need to wait for a better time to come back. Shaitan will always tell you, later. But later turns into never. Start now, even if it's one sincere prayer, one honest dua, one moment of remembrance. Take one step towards Allah, and He will come to you with mercy beyond your imagination. You are not too far gone. You are not disqualified from Allah's love. You are not forgotten. Allah is closer to you than you think, and more ready to forgive than you are to ask. So don't let your past stop you. Don't let your define you. Don't let your guilt silence you. Turn back. Because the to Allah is always open. And no matter how unworthy you feel, no matter how broken you are, run back to Allah, even if you feel unworthy. As this reminder gently settles into your heart, slow down for a moment. Take a deep breath, let everything you've heard sink in. Because sometimes, you don't need more words, you just need to feel the truth. You are not alone, even in your quietest moments. When the world feels distant, when no one checks on you, when your heart feels heavy beyond words. You are not alone. Allah has always been there. Through every tear you hid, through every you couldn't sleep, through every thought you couldn't explain, Allah was there, and He is still there. Right now, closer than you realize, closer than your fears, closer than your pain, closer than anyone who has ever walked into your life. And we are closer to Him than His jugular vein. Surah Qaf 50-16, pause. Let that settle in your heart. Not distant, not unreachable, not unaware, close, deeply close. When you whispered that dua, He heard you. When your eyes filled with tears, He saw you. When your heart felt like breaking, He understood you. You were never ignored, you were never abandoned, you were never forgotten. Sometimes, the silence you feel is not absence. It's preparation. Sometimes, the delay is not rejection. It's unfolding in ways you cannot see yet. So slow down. Let go of the weight you've been carrying alone. Because you were never meant to carry it alone. Allah is with you. In your pain, in your confusion, in your waiting, He is with you. Indeed, Allah is with the patient. 2-153. Repeat it softly, in your heart. Again, indeed, Allah is with the patient. Let it calm you, let it ground you, let it remind you that this moment, this struggle, this chapter, is not the end. You are not alone, you never were, and you never will be. As we come to the end of this reminder, don't rush away. Stay here for a moment. Let your heart absorb what it needs, because this isn't just another video, this is a message your soul needed. You've been through things people don't see. You've carried emotions you couldn't explain. You've smiled while your heart was tired. But through all of that, you're still here, and that means something. It means Allah is not done with you. It means your story is still being written. So don't give up now. Not when you've come this far. Not when your heart is still searching for Him. Not when your dua is still rising to the heavens. Trust Allah, even when it's hard, even when it doesn't make sense, even when everything inside you feels uncertain. Because trust is not about having answers. It's about believing that Allah knows, even when you don't. You don't see the full picture. But Allah does. You don't know what's coming next. But Allah has already written it. Every delay, every hardship, every unanswered question, it's all part of something greater. Something you will one day understand. So hold on, just a little longer, because your moment is coming. You will find peace, your tears will make sense, your patience will be rewarded, and one day, you will look back and realize, Allah was guiding you the whole time. Your story isn't over, your relief is already written. Asterisk. You don't need to have it all figured out, you just need to trust Allah. Asterisk. Pause, let it settle. And if this reminder touched your heart, if it made you feel even a little closer to Allah, then don't let it stop here. Loudspeaker like thumbs up this video. Loudspeaker subscribe bell for more reminders that bring you back to Allah. Loudspeaker and comment below. Asterisk. Allah is near, asterisk. Because sometimes, one reminder can change everything. And maybe, this was yours.